So Neil Young is furious with Donald Trump again, this time for using his music without permission at his Mount Rushmore rally and speech in South Dakota. And not only is Neil Young furious at Trump for using his music for appropriating his art and his message for Trump's rallies that Neil Young disagrees with and for a political vision that he disagrees with, he's also connecting it to what we saw yesterday at Mount Rushmore, which was a rally and an event against the wishes and against the historical land ownership of the Lakota Sioux. The Lakota Sioux indigenous people, Native Americans. That is their land according to grand history, but also according to the rule of the U.S. Supreme Court. That's their territory. And Mount Rushmore is, in a sense, a defacement of their land and a debasement of their culture and their spiritual traditions. Whatever you think about statues to dead U.S. presidents, whatever you think about that, Mount Rushmore in particular violates the land and spirituality and history and traditions of some of America's native population. That's the simple reality. And so Neil Young knows that having his music played at this rally isn't just about him being associated with Trump and him not liking that. Neil Young realizes that this is bigger than him, that this is about fundamentally having his art be used to paper over, to gloss over what was essentially a rally, a speech, a Trump event on native stolen land. That's what this was. Full stop. This was an event on stolen, pilfered land by Trump and his far-right white audience, taking over native space as they have for centuries, for generations. Let's be very clear. What you saw there, in a sense, was the sort of invasion that Donald Trump decries supposedly coming over the southern border. Last night, you saw it. This goes beyond Neil Young. You saw this. You saw indigenous protesters, Lakota protesters, other native protesters in solidarity standing up to having Trump's event there. And they were being pelted by Trump supporters with phrases like, go back to where you came from, go home, this is America, go back to wherever you're from if you don't like America. They were here before America was America. If there's any people that have the right to laugh at, to scoff at this America love it or leave it mentality, this go back to where you came from, this speak English, that's America's language type discourse, it's the first peoples of this land who have been here in some cases for tens of thousands of years with rich political, social, and spiritual traditions that go back again, some cases millennia, if not longer. This is their land. It's theirs. It was stolen from them. Not just the Lakota Sioux, of course, but people all over. And so to have this rally on their space and to have this rally being juxtaposed to Trump supporters telling these people to go home is just the most American thing, really, that you can think of for 4th of July. A bunch of white Americans telling indigenous people to go back to where they came from. Happy 4th of July. But Neil Young is 100% right to call out Donald Trump, to demand that Donald Trump not play his music. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how these things work legally, whether Neil Young can legally stop Trump from playing his music. I don't know if that's a thing, but I think that he's right to make that stand, to call it out, especially because when you play songs like Rockin' in the Free World, which was one of the songs played, the lyrics of that song are directly and stridently critical of American empire, of right-wing America, of an America that does not believe in freedom, in justice, in equality for everyone, especially minorities. It references the flaws of the United States in the 1980s, and the message of Rockin' in the Free World applies to Donald Trump's America just as much as 1980s America, maybe even more. So I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see artists take a stand for their creative work, but I'm especially happy to see Neil Young do this and tie his individual distaste with Trump to the broader struggle for Indigenous justice. Very happy to see that. I hope that this brings greater awareness, not only to Neil Young's, path-breaking music, but to the reality that the United States government, before Trump as well, effectively stole this land from the Lakota Sioux, built a monument to some of those thieves that stole the land, and think that the Lakota Sioux are the ones trespassing. Absolutely absurd.